All right, so now we're going to move on to the second video of this section, and it's just going to be doing some examples. All right, so let's just jump right into them. All right, so we're asked to solve for b to the nearest 10th. All right, so remember, we have the formulas, the three different formulas that we learned in the last video. So since I know I'm solving for the side b, it's going to be b squared is equal to a squared plus c squared, so it's a sum of the two other sides, minus 2 times those two sides, so 2 times a times c, times cosine of the angle opposite of the side we're looking for, so cosine of b. Right? Then we will just substitute in. We don't know b, so it's still going to remain b squared. A is going to be opposite of angle A. C will be opposite of angle C, so it'll be 22 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 22 times 10 times cosine of angle B, which we know is 44 degrees, so cosine of 44. So then we have b squared is equal to 22 squared is 484, 10 squared is 100, minus 2 times 22 times 10 times cosine of 44. We can plug this into our calculator at once, and that will be minus 316.51. All right, now remember, this number, we just round it here, so you should always be using your answer key on your calculator. All right, then we will then combine these three. So 484 plus 100 is equal to 584, so b squared is equal to 584 minus 316.51. So then that will give us b squared is equal to 267.49, and then we will take the square root of each side. All right, now, same thing. These have to be positive because we're dealing with length, but I don't want you guys getting into bad habits. So since we're taking the square root, and this is some number squared is equal to this, I want us to write that this b is equal to plus or minus, and the square root of 267.49 equal to 16.355, so 16.36. Then we will reject the negative because we know that it's going to be a positive because we're dealing with the length of a side. So our final answer would be b is equal to, they ask us to round to the nearest 10th, so b is equal to 16.4. All right, and that'll be your final answer. All right, so that's one example, and we're going to go ahead and do one more. All right, so this one says in triangle TUV, so first we will just go ahead and draw TUV. It tells us that TU is equal to 4.4, that UV is equal to 7.1, and that TV is equal to 6.7. All right, it asks us to find the measure of angle V to the nearest 10th of a degree. So all of the formulas that we learned and went over, we're in A and B and C. So if you need to, you can just go ahead and just write A, B, C next to these, which then means this side would be little a, this side would be little c, and this side would be little b. So this tells us that we're looking to solve for angle C, so we know that we'd have to use the formula of c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b times cosine of angle C. All right, you do not have to memorize the formula like this. You could also just say, well, since I'm solving for this angle, I know that this is the angle opposite of it that will be set equal to. All right, now we just plug everything in. So then we would have c squared is equal to 4.4, a squared is equal to 7.1, b squared is equal to, b is equal to 6.7, and then it'll be minus 2 times a, which is 7.1, times b, which is 6.7, times cosine of that angle C, which we do not know, but we will substitute now that it is actually the angle V. All right, now we'll just go ahead and we will do all the math. So 4.4 squared is equal to 19.36. 7.1 squared is 50.41. 6.7 squared is 44.89. And then 2 times 7.1 times 6.7 will be minus 95.14 cosine of angle V. All right, then from here we will then combine these two. So then we will get 19.36 is equal to 95.3 minus 95.14 cosine of V. We cannot combine these two here because they're not like terms. This has this cosine of v to it. All right, so that means we then need to move this to the other side. So then we'll subtract 95.3 from both sides. So that way we can start to isolate our cosine of v. We will write this, or actually I'll just move this down a little bit. All right, so 19.36 minus 95.3 is equal to negative 75.94. So now to isolate this cosine of v, we will then need to divide each side by this negative 95.14. And this here will then give us approximately 0.0798 is then equal to cosine of angle v. Right now, remember, you can write this here, but on your calculator, you want to make sure you're using the answer key. And then since we want to isolate and solve for that angle, we need to take the cosine inverse of each side. And that means v is approximately equal to 37.04. And since it says round to the nearest tenth of a degree, this will round down. So that means v is approximately equal to 37.0 degrees. All right, that is it for this video. And then there's one more video and we're done for this section.